What the US election means for Australian real estate. As I compile my weekly discourse, the media and the public are all getting over the big shock that has just occurred in the US. As I compile my weekly discourse, the media and the public are all getting over the big shock that has just occurred in the US. Yes, that rather wealthy, ex-reality TV star with the flowing hair is now the President of the United States of America. We all knew it was possible, but we didn't think it would actually happen. How similar this is to the reason UK voted to leave the EU, another massive fundamental change. Strangely, that too was instigated by another gentleman with flowing hair. Could we all be missing something here? Anyway, I digress. I do realize the EU and who is the president of the US seems totally unlinked to my specialty subject of Aussie real estate, but these shocking political phenomena do create one common factor, and that is insecurity, maybe a lack of confidence, and certainly the fear of the unknown. The situations in both the UK and US caused a certain amount of hype around each of those nations' real estate markets. Those markets actually are very close in form and function to ours. Interestingly enough, as it is now half a year since the UK Brexit vote, despite the doom and gloom predicted to flow over the housing market, the dramatic downturn in the market predicted by some was at worst nothing more than a subtle normal market calming. Some reports showed decreases in London and some counties of 2% and 3%, the long-term view no one really knows. Also, many parts of the UK have had huge property value growth in recent years, so it can be argued it is nothing more than the generally inevitable slowdown. The good news is, in the main, the Australian housing market is a resilient beast. If you insist on purchasing a McMansion backing onto a highway in some far-flung housing estate, or an off-the-plan penthouse in a high-rise at the peak of the market, that property may not so fare well. Generally, time is a great healer. So we can call this the Trump effect. If your local housing market is affected by a locality-based disaster or unappealing changes to the local aesthetic, it can even be micro changes, such as their proposal of a 10-level unit block in your otherwise quiet suburban street full of conventional homes. How, as a seller or buyer, should you review the Trump effect if it occurs in your locality? The answer is to understand the 3 stages outlined below. Initial anticipation, or the initial impact of a physical disaster, or site cleared ready to build the offending structure, pending legislation or government changes and reforms. This is panic stage, and if you want to sell right now, best wait a while, but for the brave buyers, it is time to pounce. The event, the situation has occurred, the storm has passed, the waters have receded, the building is nearing, or is now completed. Maybe the decision has been made. Again, for most housing markets, this is usually not the ideal selling time. Recent sales will have been blighted by stage 1, so it will be bargain hunters only. For buyers, it can still be the time to make a move, and usually a slightly more comfortable stage, as you see the area resuming its normal desirability, albeit slowly. Acceptance, even after a relatively short period of time, depending on the scale of the event or impacting factors, this stage can be reached in a matter of months. In other cases, it can be many years. Sellers, if you can wait until this point, sometimes the initial recovery is followed by more value growth, so timing is everything. Buyers, watch out. Markets can change within just a few weeks. A buyer's market can, without warning, become a seller's zone. Stock drops, demand increases, competition hots up, and prices head upwards. Natural or man-made disasters or changes, and even political scenarios do affect our housing markets, but that effect can be minimized over time, no matter how shocking or devastating the occurrence has been. In many instances, markets recover stronger and more sustainable than they ever were previously. As for Donald, who knows?